Hello, and welcome to the Quick Flick Critic Reviews and Interviews. I'm your host, John SMISTAD, and these are my takes on films both new and not so, spanning a wide range of genres and tastes, plus conversations with some of the coolest people in indie entertainment. Now, let us rock with this one, shall we? My guest on this edition of the Quick Flick Critic Reviews and Interviews is Oscar-winning filmmaker Vanessa Roth. She has a new film. It's a documentary short called The Righteous Road Trip. We'll be talking about that film. First of all, Vanessa, welcome to the Quick Flick Critic Reviews and Interviews. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to do this.
I'm going to lay a little foundation for the film. It features a gentleman named Johnny Daniels and a group of people called the Righteous Among the Nation. That's the premise, basically, that the story is built around. Vanessa, why don't you tell us what your film, The Righteous Road Trip, is about, if you would, please?
Sure. Yeah, so The Righteous Road Trip, I went on a 3-week and 3,000-mile journey with this humanitarian, Johnny Daniels, who every Christmas season, he's a Jewish man from London, and he goes every Christmas time to go deliver gifts, Christmas lights, Christmas trees, and just sort of holiday cheer to these people who are referred to as the righteous among the nations. And these are the people who secretly hid and saved the lives of Jewish people during the Holocaust, at the risk of them being killed as well if they were ever caught for what they did. So these are the people, like most people have heard of, like Schindler's List or the woman who saved Anne Frank. These are these kinds of people who, in corners of farms, and just everyday people who did things for a neighbor, a friend, or a stranger at a moment when, there was some, just maybe one of the worst times in history. But these beacons of moral courage did these things completely secretly. In our film, he goes and visits them to really hear their stories, because originally there were 28,000 people that had been found to be people who had saved people during the Holocaust. Wow. And now there's less than 65 of them still alive. So Johnny goes through Eastern Europe and he visits them to try to record their stories before it's too late and before we lose them, and these firsthand testimonies. And the piece about it that I really love is that Johnny's a wonderful just character of a human being, and he's just full of joy and goodness, and it's about celebrating the capacity for goodness. And these people who we visit in the film were just teenagers and kids during the war. So that's who's still left alive now, are just people who are teenagers and kids. So they saved people's lives when they were like 12 years old.
What inspired you personally? Because there's a ton of projects you could do, and you've done a bunch, and you've been awarded right and left. Mm-hmm. A lot of things you could have chosen to do. What inspired you personally to commit to this film, The Righteous Road Trip, Vanessa?
Yeah. So I got a call from one of the producers, Stephen Smith, who I've known for a long time. And he said, what do you think? This was around Thanksgiving time. And he had said, what do you think next week of flying to Poland and following this guy in this van, or going with this guy in this van to all these houses?
Well, let me think about it. No.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Like, so yeah, in my documentary mind, no. So I said, actually, yes, immediately, knowing, like the thing I just said to you, I knew of these people who had done this, heroic thing that I can't even begin to fathom what that would take for a person to be able to, risk your life to save another person, not for a day, but for years, and to know what was happening at that time. So I knew too that these people are getting older. The chance to go into their homes and to hear their stories firsthand was just something to me that I felt like I couldn't pass up. And then as a documentary filmmaker, I do so many films that, can be hard to watch, and documentaries tend to, have these, social issues or things that sometimes are challenging. And obviously the Holocaust is one of those topics, but I found telling the story in this way, with this perspective, in this light, and it was about joy, and he's a joyful person. I felt like it was an opportunity to do a film where we look at humanity in a way that it's not going to shut us down and, and make us sort of not want to talk about it or think about it, but actually think about what's possible in the face of evil. And I thought even what Johnny was doing was such a nice and kind, giving thing. And then on top of that, I thought I haven't seen many Christmas holiday films that are short documentaries. So like for all those reasons, I felt like it was just a really unique situation. And I also feel like I went into docs many, many years ago and continue to do them. I feel like kind of in the pursuit of, looking for this capacity for goodness and this idea of humans being human to each other. And I think that's every time, because my films span a lot of topics, but I feel like that's maybe one of the core things I'm always looking for, is like what actually connects us as humans.
Boy, howdy, do we need that now.
Yeah.
The human condition always has and always will. But the film, again, it's The Righteous Road Trip, and we're talking to the filmmaker, Vanessa Roth. It's going to premiere Monday, June 22nd at the TCL Chinese Theaters in Hollywood, California. There's going to be other platforms and venues where people can watch the film, right?
Yeah, so the festival world premiere is at Dances with Films, like you said, June 22nd, and it's playing as part of a shorts block at that film festival, which is really exciting. And I'm excited about the other films there too. And then it actually got into in Los Angeles will be actually the Burbank Film Festival later in the summer. Right. We're going to be at some film festivals in Europe and around the world. We're going to be then doing, some showings in the fall, and really look out for it. Sort of aside from the festivals and this Christmas in July and June kind of feeling of this film. The big thing is, again, this film has some really great themes that it delves into. And so we're really looking for wonderful partnerships for museums and schools and organizations to be able to show the film and talk about it.
That'd be great in schools. Yeah. That would be ideal, obviously, to have young people be able to see this film. Again, the film is The Righteous Road Trip. It is a documentary short from a multi-award-winning filmmaker, Vanessa Roth. Vanessa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the Quick Click Critic reviews and interviews. All the best with the film. It's very touching, very moving, and frankly, it's pointing us in the right direction in terms of where our hearts can be as human beings.
Yeah, exactly. I hope so.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Quick Flick Critic reviews and interviews. Now I ask that you please subscribe and be notified of my continuous new episode announcements. As always, make it a great day and make it count. Goodbye, everybody.
Aww.